We have an email from Lexi who asks, do animals have souls? Do animals make it to heaven? I've heard this widely debated, he says, between Catholic and Protestants for some time now. Well, when I was an evangelical Protestant, Lexi, one young gentleman had gone through seminary and was being questioned by all the elders of the church in preparation for him to become a pastor. And a little child in our audience asked if her dog would go to heaven. And this young man thought for a minute, and he said, well, he will if he asks Jesus into his heart, which was a great answer, because, you know, if the evangelical process, so to speak, of becoming a Christian is to ask Jesus into your heart. In other words, to turn your life over to Jesus and ask him to take your life and save you. And of course, a dog can't do that. So he answered the question. But do animals have souls? The answer is yes. They do have souls. Every living thing has a soul. In fact, the Jewish understanding is that every blade of grass has a soul, has an angel. Every living thing has a soul, animals and plants as well as human beings. But animals and plants do not have souls like ours. We are made alone in the image of God, and that is intellect and will. And animals do not have that. It's not that they can't think at all, but they don't have a rational nature as we do. On the site of Catholic.com, it reads, the soul is the principle of life. Since animals and plants are living things, they have souls, but not in the sense in which human beings have souls. Our souls are rational, theirs are not, and ours are rational because they're spiritual, not material. Animals and plants cannot do anything which transcends the limitation of matter. Although some animals seem clever, they do not actually possess conceptual intelligence. They cannot, for instance, conceive of the abstract notion of justice. And it's interesting, dear ones, when I think back to Genesis chapter 1, the creation of everything, God created the heavens and the earth and plants and animals, and then said, let us make man in our image. And he said, let us, because God was speaking to himself. That's a scriptural proof, so to speak, or understanding of the Trinity. God was speaking to himself, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Let us. He wasn't speaking to the angels. We're not made in the image of the angels. Animals and plants lack also a moral sense. When you scold Spot, your little dog, for chewing the carpet and tell him what he did was wrong, you are not assigning guilt of sin to him, since he cannot commit a sin. Animal and vegetable souls are dependent entirely on matter for their operation and being, and they cease to exist at death. In other words, they will not be in heaven. Human souls, by contrast, are not material. They're spiritual. Only a spirit can know and love. A spirit's two chief faculties being the intellect, which knows, and the will, which loves. We know human souls are spiritual, since humans can know and love. We also know human souls are immortal, because spirits cannot decompose. They have no parts. Only a thing with parts can fall apart. A spirit is a unit. It has no top or bottom, no left or right, no inside or outside. God is spirit. He doesn't come in parts. Every bit of matter, even the smallest, has parts. The human body can decompose. It's made of matter, after all. But the human soul cannot. That's why we say it's immortal. There's an article also of Mortimer Adler's, it's actually a book, The Difference of Man and the Difference It Makes. The Difference of Man and the Difference It Makes. And that, the article on Catholic Answers says, is an excellent presentation of the difference between man and animals. That's a book you might take a look at, because I'm going to gather that what I've just said is not new to you, Lexi. If it's been widely debated between Catholics and Protestants for some time, you've probably heard all their arguments. Perhaps disagree. It's not an issue to disagree, but it might be a good thing for you to take a look at this book, The Difference of Man and the Difference It Makes, and it will give you a deeper look into the difference, the spirits of man and the souls of man versus animals.